You guys. Yay! I'm here. Let's see who pops in tonight. Welcome, welcome, everybody. If you've never popped into one of my lives before, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside. This is one of two live shows that I do. I have a daily live show that I do called What's My Good Cheer, and it's a lot of working in emotion, a lot of mindset, a lot of moving forward. But I show up every day, and on Sunday nights we have this other live show, Chatters Live. I call it Chatters Live because the people in my crew, they know how to chat. And here's a couple of our big chatters right now. This is Owen and Andrew. If you don't get an opportunity to come in during the live and you come in later on, these are a couple of my favorite guys in the whole world, and that is the truth. And in reality, I have to be honest, I've never met personally either of them, right? We have exchanged letters, we've had conversations online, but personally, if you asked me what they look like, I would have no idea. And even so, and let's include Kathy because Kathy's here too. Now, I know what Kathy looks like because I've had the honor of Kathy sending me a picture, and so I know what Kathy looks like. But we've built these friendships over the years, and they are true friendships, and that is the truth. And in this digital age, because like I said, I've never met any of them, right? And I would consider these people friends if I had to make a list, right? They would be on that list. And that's the truth. And in this digital age, that's the evidence that socially, we can keep up. Socially, we can connect with other people. We can connect with unique and dynamic people each and every day if we wanted to, because guaranteed, I am nothing like Andrew. I am nothing like Owen. I am nothing like Kathy. And yet, each one of us is one of those amazing ingredients of this brand, Prairie Dodgers, and of myself, Cindy. Hi, if you've never met me before, you met me now. I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside. And Sunday nights, this is a light, for the most part, it is a light show. And it is in that connection, in that movement of getting to know people, practicing being social. For lots of us, we are introverts. We're highly sensitives. We're empathics. We are, right. We're just loners, lone wolves. There are lots of labels you can give to these people, but these are people that find comfort and they find peace of mind and peace of soul in spending time, a majority of their time, on their own. I don't know about you guys, but I am a social person, right? I have a very social job, and I practice my craft and I make connections that way too, because I know how important for my movement it is, and because I can do it. But if you truly gave me a choice, I would spend the majority of my time on my own. So this show, Sunday night, it's not a matter of forcing us to be social. We actually, because we've spent that time together, we've learned to become friends at the same time, right? Each and every one of us is practicing our craft. And you can do this in any subject that you're interested in. It's just an in to start a conversation. So, no matter what your favorite topics are, you can meet interesting people. Even though you are super shy, I didn't include that one, shyness, because right? A lot introverts for the most part can be very shy, right? Not too much left in me to be shy. Lots still to be self-conscious about, but there is a difference between being shy and being self-conscious, right? But then if you think of it, right, maybe there isn't a difference. Maybe it's just the same thing, but with a different label. Okay, you guys. Hello, Andrew, Owen, Kathy. How has your weeks been going? It is absolutely amazing. And it is movement forward. And it's the ones that are right. It's that combination. And this, I feel in my soul for it to be so true. I think the imbalance is when you get too high or too low in one of these aspects, that we should be working on all these things at the same time. That biology of ourselves, right? The vitamins, the exercise, the eating well, which is I'm going to say it's not my forte, and it's not where my expertise is. And then, in fact, I would have to say a lot of my limiting beliefs, a lot of my weaknesses lies in the biology of me, right? That psychology part, that's right. The psyche, I think I'm moving pretty good with that. I think even as a young child and growing up, I naturally flowed that way. I had to figure out and understand what was going on in my life and what was different and how I could change myself, mostly how to change myself to accommodate somebody else. But it was still change, and that was always never ending. Like I just right that adventure, and having it forced on me, right, it kind of took that fear out of me. And again, in those fields of service, in my jobs, waitressing, bartending, right, customer service, that I naturally built skills in that. And it's not because, well, I do love people, right? I'm curious. I love interacting and having conversations and adventures. But the thing is, right, being introverted, being a kind of a lone wolf, that time alone is so important. And it's something that's very, very new in reality, because as a child, I would escape and I would go adventure, go to the beach, go to the park, go off on my own. But that was all an escapism, right? That was all an escapism. Now it's a different choice. I do these things for the joy of it. I do these things because now I appreciate it. I don't do it to run away. I don't do it to hide, to not be seen, right? It was right. Not being seen was a safety place for me, right? It right. If you weren't seen, you couldn't get yelled at. You couldn't be put to work. So right, out of sight, out of mind, which for the most part everybody was content with. I did a lot of that, right? So it's a miracle that I actually was able, right, because of the psyche part of it, be able to learn to socialize, to make that movement, to make connections, and to find a way to really understand. And when I understand, right, or started to understand, I got to appreciate, really truly appreciate the people around me, and to appreciate that it was okay, right? It's okay to be a lone wolf, right? Okay for somebody to enjoy their time. But, right, it's important for us. Here's the third one, the social, right? So there's the biological, there's the psyche, and there's the social, right? I stumbled into it out of necessity, maybe of a job over my head, maybe because all those schools I went to and change, and I was always looking for a way to better settle in, that I so wanted to have friends, and that it was being forced into being able to do that made it so it was a little bit easier. And I say it all the time, baby steps, right? You want that gold medal in the Olympic, you got to practice, right? You got to apply, and you got to practice, and that's how you get better. And unintentionally, I got a little bit better that way, right? But when I say sometimes one of my live shows, that if you pop into my What's My Good Cheer, I talk a lot about sometimes about getting so heady, right? Like I could sometimes float away holding like a bouquet of balloons, right? And I would just float away because I'm so in my head, and I'm happy to get grounded back to get back grounded into my job, right? So it's important, and it helps me a lot to be able to be social. We were meant to be social. And when I get really, really, really high in my head, that means those other parts of me, right? So I get really, really high in my psyche, then my biology is coming down, because right when I'm taking in lessons, you can guaranteed I'm munching out on something. Oh, I've got a cup of coffee, I gotta jump up and get a cup of coffee, but before it zaps out of my brain, right? But then the social part of us, and it becomes unbalanced, and that's why, right, we don't feel good when one aspect of us is too high or too low, that we should be working on these things all the time. So I would like to get to the point, I wish I had 3 arms so I could see, like, this is one, let's just pretend there's one. And they're just all here, and I just like them to all be here instead of one up here, one down here, right? Because that's just too wonky. And I think that's when we become truly unbalanced, right? When it's just too high in one aspect. So, well, that was my input there. I don't know what you guys have to think about that, but that's right. That's just some of the stuff that comes to my brain as I move along, right? But this is something new to me, in the balance of these three things. Like I don't I'm even feeling the pull away from anything else that I stress about, right? As long as I can manage these three things: the psyche, the biology, and the social aspects of myself. I think those are the three main ingredients. Of course, there's different qualities in those ingredients, and different additives depending on, right, even the companies that are making the ingredients. If you get what I mean right there, right? So to each one of us, it's going to be a little bit different. But I'm very grateful that Sunday nights we have this live show, because it's allowed me to make friends, and maybe in a time when I don't really truly feel like I have friends, right? And it's not a matter of just feeling like I have friends, but it's believing I have friends. And that's the nicest, sweetest gift that anybody could give me, right? And that's the truth. We're all moving forward together, right? Right? I hope in 10 years, 20 years, the next lifetime, that I get that opportunity to bump into you, right? To actually maybe meet you, right? Meet you. I was actually planning my trip today. I was saying this week I was a little bit heavy in the lessons, right? That sometimes when I feel the heaviness, that it's a time to smile. It's time to do some fun stuff, time to move into one of those other interests that I have, right? So I decided today I was going to get out onto Google Maps and track out some of these mines and where they are, and look at the travel routes and the different states that I'll be going through, how long it's going to take me to get to my destinations. You guys, I think by September, I wanted to go into the Weather Channel is what I wanted to do, because I wanted to see what the weather was in these two states, that specifically two states that I'll be doing a lot of rock hounding and mining for for crystals and stuff. But I'm thinking of going to Arizona and to Utah. And between here and there, there's lots of states, right? So I was thinking of going to the Black Hills because there's some crystals in the Black Hills that they call agate eyes. They look like eyeballs, but they're actually crystals, and you just pick them up off the ground. And the scenery and the Mother Nature out there is absolutely incredible. I don't know how I feel about tarantulas and rattlesnakes, but I make sure it's part of the planning that I take in some lessons. I go to a walking clinic and talk to a doctor to see if I need some kind of special shot or something so that I don't get dead if a rattlesnake bites me. I was looking at the different states and the different routes, right? Because, I'm not sure. When I went to Minneapolis, I took, what do they call it in the state? They call it the interstate. I took the interstate. It was lovely. The interstate is lovely, but there's not a lot of beautiful nature. And you have to do roundabouts and stuff when you want to go into the towns. Like, here in Canada, you take the Trans Canada Highway, and the towns and the cities and the villages and stuff, they're all alongside the highway, so you're not coming off the highway and driving any distance or anything to go into the towns. So I think I lose a lot of the experience when I take the interstate. Now, let me know if I'm wrong in that idea, that I thought maybe I would just go on to the regular highways when I go to the States rather than take the interstate. I know the interstate is also faster, but 120 is a little bit odd. I say 120 because we go in kilometers here in Canada. So on our cars here, the main number is the kilometers, right? So 120 kilometers an hour is really, really fast. Or is it 120 miles an hour? It could be 120 miles an hour, but it's really, really quite way, way, way too fast for me, right? So that's what I was doing today. I was doing a little bit of planning, but somebody's comment actually kicked me into talk. Oh, the weather. That's what I want to do, is I want to check what the weather is like, because those states are very hot. I'm looking at pictures and video, and it's desert. It's absolute just desert out there, right? So I'm going to assume that fall is a little bit different in its timings, if at all. Maybe those states are just hot all the time. I don't know. I haven't done any of that research, right? Yet, but this is what I'm thinking is my trip this fall, is I am going to go into the States. I'm renewing my passport, and I'm still going to do my amethyst stake in Ontario, right? I'm going to do that every year until I'm dead. And I'm also going to do the tubing, right? Out at Pinawa every single year for until I can't walk anymore. But even then, I'll probably just hire somebody just to carry me to my inner tube. It's so much fun. I absolutely loved it. I'm in my days off this week, you guys, or for the next few days. I'm really, really happy. I think I'll maybe go for a walk tomorrow or Tuesday. Maybe go visit my sisters, take them a coffee, see if they need anything at the grocery store. Also, um, what was the other thing I wanted to do? There were a few things that I want to do, right? I might have my friend. I'm right. She's a coworker, but I really, really love her, and she takes good care of me, and hopefully she thinks I take good care of her. So we're moving towards that friendship, right? But again, right? Friendship means investing. That means Andrew's got to keep investing on those amazing letters that he writes me. Owen's going to keep sending me emails, right? And Kathy's going to keep sending me those lovely comments in the posts that I put out there. Absolutely amazing crew here. Okay, let's look at some of these comments, see what you guys are up to. A little bit calmer for you? What's been going on with you, Owen, that things have been a little bit hectic? Is it issues with your mom? I have to do it a little bit different. I broke my mouse. I dropped it on the floor one too many times. I'm just coming up with the comments here. Da da da. Okay, I'll short stuff and I can come right back down. But yeah, what's been so busy that now it's calmer? Oh, I love the rain. Oh, and I just love the rain. We don't get enough rain here. That's one thing about Manitoba. There isn't a lot of rainy days. When I first moved here, it was in 1980 when I first moved here. I was 18 years old when I moved to Winnipeg, Manitoba from Vancouver, British Columbia. My whole family moved here. The plan was I was supposed to move in with my high school friend, and we were supposed to get an apartment in Vancouver, and we had the hope chest. We were ready to move in the next couple of months, and then the next thing you know, my dad comes home. He says, "We're moving to Manitoba." Total surprise. My whole family. I was going to be left in BC all by myself. And I asked my dad to talk to my mom to see if my mom would let me come. It took 2 weeks for my dad to get back to me with that answer, right? But yeah, a few days before they left, they said that I could come, and I came out a couple of weeks later. Me and my sister Tracy, we flew out. My rest of my family took the train out here to Manitoba. But Vancouver, there's lots and lots of rain. And I was very surprised. We get a little bit of rain. We have a little bit, we call it rainy season, but it only lasts for a couple of weeks or a few weeks in June usually. And in the past couple of Junes, we have not had a lot of rain. So rain doesn't happen a lot here. We are Manitoba is the sunniest place in Canada, and even though like we have clear skies, a lot of clear skies for the prairies, I think it's that northern wind thing that goes by. It makes we always have sunny blue skies. It could be minus 50 Celsius, but we always have sunny blue skies for the most part in Manitoba. So one other thing I wanted to mention. Oh, okay. Oh, that's awesome. So you had your niece and your sister at the house, Owen. Is that what you're saying? They came to help cook meals, or did they bring the meals with them for you and your mom? But yeah, I bet you that appreciates, right? Because if they don't cook for you, if they don't if they're not putting meals together, you're gonna have to do it, right? And you do enough. And it's really nice that your sister, I know she contributes lots, and I know that you appreciate it because you mention it all the time when she comes in for holidays and comes in to visit your mom. It takes a big load off of you, right? And she does it to take a big load off you. She's just not doing it to come in and right take care of mom. She's doing it for you too because she knows it's a big burden, right? It's a lot of work being a caregiver. I don't know. I'm pretty certain that, my mother needed that help. I don't think I would have been able to be that daughter that would have moved in with her and helped her out. It would have been too difficult. My mother, even though she was older and a little bit frailer, my mother had a tongue. And she could bite you right to the core with just her words, and she couldn't help herself. She just naturally just could not help herself around me, right? And even though I understand, and I'm past that now, I would never, ever, 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 never put myself in that situation where I would be around that energy again. And it's hard to say because my sister has that energy, right? Sometimes one of my sisters, she has that energy. I'm sure that when my mother passed, a lot of this is epigenetics, a lot of this is passed down, and I think passed down, in passing because I recognizes the changes immediately after my mother passed, and you can't attribute all of it to heartbreak and grief, right? Sometimes I thought maybe it was just holding on, but it was like some people just changed forever, like their whole personalities changed permanently. And I understand that too, because right, I'm not uh I'm not privy to not recognizing, right? I fully recognize that I have changed. Right? I have never been a stranger to change. Change has always been in my life, but not like it's been in the past half a dozen years, right? That change is really quite significant, and when these things happen, right, it's hard not to recognize it, even recognize it in yourself. So I get that my sister probably recognizes it in herself, but it's only in our choices if you want to take it on as part of you, right? And sometimes when you truly truly love somebody, you take on their characteristics. Why do you take on their characteristics? It's because of the trust. It's because of the love, right? It's in that consideration. And we don't look to see if somebody loves us or somebody cares for us, right? It's just in that recognition that we have these feelings for other people that makes us want to reach out, give more, stumble over ourselves, right? Give it away. Okay. Oh, that it's really good. Oh, she's gonna come back in February. Wow. Amazing. So the trick is, Owen, is to recognize all the favorite dishes that she made for you and put in the freezer, in the cupboards, and in the bags for you, in the storage containers for you. And make sure you mention your favorites, right? Because if your favorite is lasagna and she made you a lasagna, you want her to make you another lasagna, right? So you let her know how amazing her lasagna is, right? And also, you should tell her how much you appreciate her, right? I hope you do tell her. Oh, you have a list of your favorites. That's amazing. I hope you tell your sister how much you appreciate her, right? It's amazing, like here right now when you tell us that. And I wonder to myself, does your sister know you're saying these amazing things about her? Oh, that's amazing. I love that, Owen. I absolutely love that. And she knows that's perfect, right? There's nothing worse than not uh, being recognized for what you contribute, but also sometimes that's what we live on. That's what we thrive on. I would feed on the compliments, right? You said something nasty, you went for the jugular. If I sensed you did not mean me well, I wouldn't really do anything about it except move away from you, because I know there are other parts of me that would just deal with that, especially if there was a disrespect or an intentional intention, ill intention against me, that I wouldn't even have to do anything about that. That's not my call to do that. And maybe that was my dad when he said turn the other cheek. Maybe that's what he meant, that I could turn the other cheek and there would be a lesson served, right? I have thought about it, I wonder about the people, because sometimes I do think that those people's ill will to me, or their ill intent, or, right, just some of the actions or the conversations that they have, that it does come back. I guess they call it karma. You hear it as karma, that it comes back in them, in their ill health, in the problems in their life, in the little catastrophes, the little heartaches, or their lack of movement, or more than likely the repeats in lessons. And this is how I think about it, right? So I always try to end those relationships on good terms, or at the very least, not bad terms, because I never know when I'm going to bump into them again, or they'll just have a revelation. I don't know how many revelations I've had in my life, right? It's part of the changes in my life. And then from one moment to the next, you go, oh my goodness, really? Right? And understand that at any moment, any one of us could have that, and it would change the whole story. Like the whole story's been changed for me so many times. Sometimes like a rug being pulled out from underneath me, sometimes as a reward, sometimes as a gift, sometimes as a total 360. And I'm going to tell you something. I always say the 360s, right? If we don't start making these changes in ourselves and taking those steps in that movement in our decisions and choice making and in that action we take, that I always say, oh, well, if we don't do that, then we're going to end up getting the 360s. Those 360s, my sister corrected me. 360s mean all the way around, which means repeating the lessons, right? But sometimes you don't get a 360s. Sometimes you just go to the opposite end. So if somebody does something nice for you, something nice will come back to them. Sometimes unkindness happens to you, right? Sometimes if that unkindness is directed, right, something will hiccup. But that part is not a 360. It's not a beginning of the lesson. It's a 180. You're just going to the opposite end of it, right? Good, bad, black, white, right? Kind of that idea. Hello, Nancy. Oh, William's here too. Awesome. And Robert, I know sometimes you're watching in the background. If you want to pop in and say hi to us, that would be amazing. And Sharon, I know you like to watch the live when you get home and you have a couple of minutes to put your feet up and relax. And I always appreciate your lovely comments afterwards. It's always why I leave the replay up so everybody can feel like they're part of the conversation, and not only just feel like they're a part of the conversation, right? But again, in practicing, each one of us just jumping in and sharing that uniqueness of you. Oh my goodness, because we got some uniques here, 100%. Just gonna have a sip of my pop. And then I'm going to leave you to my lovely view for 1 second. I'm just going to go and grab my coffee cup, right? I didn't have time to make my coffee, but I wanted to try and get as close to the time of when I'm supposed to do my lives as I could. And I said I would just jump up and grab it. I'll be right back. Okay. Oh, rest my weary bones. I'm ready to cut my shifts back one more day. I'd like to go down to 3 days a week if I can. I can manage it. Financially, I'm not a fussy person. I don't need a lot. I have everything I need, right? And it's just the few things every once in a while. And I think, for what I could do in applying it to myself and in creating better content for everybody, it would do me well. But I find I'm picking up more hours here and there, here and there. I don't mind. If they need me, I'm there for them. The company I've worked for has been very good to me over the past few years, right? But it does get hard when people don't show up for their shifts, and it's not really sometimes even noticed, and it is tolerated to some extent because it does save the company a little bit of money and the job still gets done. But the thing is, that job is on the backs of others. It's extra work for others, right? So it's always nice when it's appreciated or at the very least recognized every once in a while. Please tell Mother Nature to stop PMS. What's going on, Nancy, in the weather? Let me look just to make sure that I'm not missing any. The Lions game. Oh, really? The BC Lions? My dad used to take me to all the football games, to the BC Lions. At that time, the Whitecaps are back, but they went away for decades. And he took me to the Whitecaps games. He took me to the Canucks, the hockey games. My dad didn't have any boys. He gave us all nicknames that were boys' names. George, right? And I spent my whole time at the concession. Right. I love my dad. I just love just to be around my dad. So whenever he said we're going here, I was in 100%. But I tell you, I spent most of the time at the concession stands because sports just wasn't my thing. He tried to get me interested in sports, but it just never was my thing. Oh, Detroit. Okay. Americans. I agree with you, Nancy. This weather, Nancy was saying that the weather is all over the place. Cold, rainy, snowy, jeepers. I love that word, jeepers. I haven't heard that one in a long time. Jeepers, she can't make up her mind. Okay, number one, you say she can't make up her mind. What if Mother Nature is actually Papa? Papa Nature. And we've got it wrong all this time. It's a possibility. And number two, this week on Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going into the pluses here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. If you've been with me for any length of time, February is the coldest month of the year. Yesterday, I actually went into the Weather Channel to actually see if I could find what the records were. In February, top 20 highest temperatures, number 20 was plus 6.1 Celsius. We're expecting it to go to 4 point something Celsius, I think on Tuesday or Wednesday. And we know the weatherman never gets it right. So I'm suspecting that we have a good possibility of hitting a record high for February temperature this week. I will keep you guys filled in. Maybe I'll leave a note because I know if you don't watch my podcast afterwards, that maybe if you see the thumbnail, I'll put the temperature on the thumbnail. So if it gets to be more than 6.1 Celsius this week, we have beat a record for February, top 20 highest temperatures. The last time it went to 6.1 was in 1988. In 1988, it went to 6.1 Celsius. So we'll see. We'll see. And also when I was in the Weather Channel, I kind of looked and there was a little bit of patterning because when it got that high, the next year or the year after that, it had another record high. So if we get to that temperature in February, I suspect maybe next year or the next year after that, we'll break that record for the February. But I'll keep you guys posted on that. It is. We hardly have any snow. It's so slushy out there. I'm not even going to dare to wear my new Keen boots, my new winter boots, because it's just such a muck pile out there. I'm wearing my old Keens and they're working just perfectly fine. And I said I was just going to shred them this year. I'm going to wear them every day until there's nothing left. And I suspect that when spring truly does come, or even maybe even now, if I went and played in the mud puddles, that water would seep through my boots. So I got a new pair of boots for my sister Tracy. Very grateful for my new Keen winter boots. They're too expensive. They were over $200. But she said to me that I always get what I want at Christmas, because when she wants her Christmas list from everybody, what everybody wants for Christmas, she says I'm the only one who gives her a list, right? I give her different things and different money brackets and stuff, right? Because you don't know the budget. They just say, what do you want, right? So I just give a whole bunch of different ideas and different pricing so they can pick something off of that. She told me I was she just told me, like at Christmas, right? The only person that gets what they want for Christmas is you. Why? Because you send me your list at Christmas time. So you get what you ask for. And I went, oh my goodness, next year I'm not going to give you a Christmas list. I thought that everybody gave you a Christmas list, and I was procrastinating too long, and you were putting the heat on me to hurry up with the Christmas list, right? So I'd always be in a panic of making this list for her of things that I wanted for Christmas. But this year, I'm glad I made the list, that I'm glad I didn't know that I was the only one who gives her a Christmas list. I got my boots this year. Super unusual, Kathy. It is crazy. It was, I think, even plus today, and even now, it's nighttime now. It cools off at night. It's only -4 right now. And if I had my phone, oh, I do have my phone. You know how the weather is changing all the time, right? And I know yesterday I checked the Weather Channel, but I haven't checked it since then. So just take a quick look here. And Nancy knows. Nancy knows now I'm online, so she'll be sending me a picture, I'm sure. Yeah, so we're going to +4 on Wednesday. So there is a good possibility that we might be able to break that record. That would be absolutely crazy. Today +2. Tomorrow +3. So there's a possibility, even at +3, there's a good possibility that we could get to +6, right? 6.1. I would like to see us break the record. I always bring the sunshine. I always, it's always me. Yeah, so we got 2 days to possibly break that record, but Nancy's 100%. We have some funky weather. They're trying to blame it on El Nino, but right, it's not even keeping us in a cold spell, is it? So you can't blame it on an El Nino. Is that how you, Andrew? What is it? They have a name for it, that wind current that comes from up north, and we're right in the spoon of it. So we that's why we get so cold here. El Nino. Thank you, El Nino. Right? And this year we do have one. I think it's a 3-year cycle, isn't it? And we're in it, but it's so wonky. It's not even making any sense. 100%. So let's see. Yeah, Nancy, even for Nancy in February, that kind of weather, I could see the rain and the slush snow, but the super nice days, the wind too. I could see the wind too. You're right on the coast, right? Have you had any Chinooks, Nancy, in Seattle? Have you had any Chinooks yet? In Seattle? I'd like to know that. Chinooks is when the wind current comes up from the tropics. And again, it has a spoon, and sometimes we get trapped in it, especially on the other side, on the west side of the Rockies. And that's when the car accidents happen, and that's when the walking accidents happen, right? When it goes from melt to freeze. It's very dangerous here too. Even at nighttime, like because today the snow melted all day long, but now everything is frozen up. All the puddles are just little ice rinks now, right? And it is dangerous. And here in Manitoba, our auto pack, which is our car insurance. Our car insurance is run by the government, and it's a corporate company. It's a business, right? But it's a corporation that has associations with the government, and so our insurance rates are dependent on, right, the year before that, how many accidents they had to pay out, how many car thefts they had to pay out. And somehow there's more car thefts. They found a new way of getting into the cars and thieving on the cars. I was watching a news broadcast on it, that they found ways to steal the cars again. Um, and the auto pack also, so car injuries. Oh, and also here, if you get hit by a car, you don't sue the insurance company, and you don't get payments. Like, you're not getting a $50,000 payment because you lost your arm or you lost a leg in a car accident. It's not how it works here in Manitoba. What you get is the resources of the medical. So you're going to get all your prosthesis taken care of. You're going to get all your surgeries taken care of. Any of those post surgical needs that you need, even if you need somebody to come to your to home to cook your meals and clean your house, right? I'll give them Owen's number. Right? That these things will be taken care of. Every province is different, but this is how our province here works. And if we become good drivers, if we, right, hold to the rules and don't get in a lot of accidents, and we don't cost the insurance company lots of money, we get every once in a while payments back, right? And it's not divvied up to, I paid this much insurance, so I get this amount of money back. But, right, they go, well, there's 450,000 people with car insurance. We'll give each of them $250, right? We'll give each of them $250 back from the insurance that they paid last year. So, right, when we have these hot, cold days, we have to drive very, very carefully. We have to make sure that we do our very best not to get in those car accidents, not just because we want to save money on our car insurance, but to stay safe, right? To stay safe. Last thing I want to do is break a hip, right? That's the last thing I want to do. People really, really struggle when they break their hips, and I don't want to be somebody who breaks their hips. I'll accept it if it happens, right? Because you got no choice. You don't cry over spilt milk, right? But if there's something I can do, if there are precautions, and right, if there's something I could do, I'll do it 100%. Okay, let's look at these comments. Nancy says, it's going to be warm here till Wednesday, then it changes. Oh, right. We were saying about the hot and the cold and the car insurance and stuff. No, we are currently having what they call end river of some sort. They call end river. We just getting soaked and flooded out. Oh, you don't drive in the freeze? I like any kind of weather. You guys have seen some of my videos and some of those snowstorms I've gotten trapped in, right? Whether it's on the roads with the snow drifts. You guys have seen those. You guys have a clear idea how cold and how much snow we do on the norm get here. We're going into February, you guys, right? One more month after that, and we'll be looking at the snow coming off the ground. It might be still cold for a little while, but I suspect the snow will, because you have those days like we're having now, warm, like you expected in March or April, where those warm, cold days are off and on, and eventually all the snow goes away, right? And it doesn't snow anymore, but it just doesn't get super, super cold anymore. But that is happening right now. And that's actually, in truth, been happening since the beginning of winter. We haven't had much of a winter at all. The snow trucks have only been out once. They could have gotten away with once because the next day it all melted, but they've all been waiting to get back to work. Like, this is their money, this is their livelihood. The only time that they have an opportunity to put money away for the rest of the year is in these winter months. And unless they're mowing grass or hanging Christmas lights in the summertime, there's not a lot of work, road work, right? Well, I guess they could go work for the city and go work and fix highways or hold stop signs. I always thought that standing in the highway with a stop sign would be a good job for me, but it wouldn't be a good job for me because I'm too hyper, right? I always need to be doing something, and I would get bored, and I'd probably get myself in trouble because I'd be wandering off, picking up pebbles or cleaning up a mess somebody made or helping somebody else out and ignoring the job I'm supposed to be doing because it's boring, right? Right? Even if it was a beautiful view, right? It's only one view. I need change. Like, I need constantly different things in my life, right? That's when I get in trouble, when there isn't any change, because then I get bored with it, right? Okay, let's see what's going on here. No, you got daffodils already, Nancy? Are you kidding me? In February, you have daffodils? They're my favorite. I love the daffodils. I do. Let me think if there's a flower I love more than daffodils. No, I love daffodils. I really do. Right? I can't believe that's they're waking up because they think it's spring. Oh my goodness. The crocuses, if the daffodils are out, the crocuses must be in full bloom, eh, Nancy? And if they do go back into the ground, do they survive for a second pop up, or do they miss the season altogether? I'd be curious about that. I didn't know that they actually went to sleep. I thought if they come up out of the ground, that's it. They're dead. The cold gets them, but I didn't realize that possibly they could go back to sleep. That would be heartening to know. I would like to appreciate that they got another chance, right? I know if you wake up a frog in the winter or you wake up a squirrel in the winter, that they will go back to sleep, right? I did know that, but I didn't know that plants did it too. Mm. Great fall. That I thought at the last minute to make myself a cup of coffee. Otherwise, I would be just drinking pop during my live shows. I usually don't drink a lot of fluids at work. We do have a water machine. It's been causing us problems, so we kind of switched it out today. But I'm not a big water drinker, and I have tons of bottled water in my fridge. I just don't seem to just pull one out and just it just doesn't float my boat and sipping water, and I've got to learn to enjoy it, but it's part of the change. So, right, introducing things into my life, right? Maybe that's something I need to introduce. I've thought of it many times that before I make my cup of coffee in the morning, that I have to drink a bottle of water. I wouldn't drink the water out of the tap. There's nothing wrong with the water out of the tap. I just don't like tap water. I'm from British Columbia, and here in Manitoba, they have to chlorify the water in order to clean it, right? The otherwise it would be like well water. It has to be our water has to be cleaned. It's very highly mineralized here in Manitoba. And I knew that when I went to Minneapolis, and I had a bath in the hotel when I went to Minneapolis, and the water was so soft. It was like laying in a big bowl of jello, warm jello. It was just absolutely amazing. We have a lot of minerals in our water here in Manitoba. So yeah. And I'm from British Columbia, so our water in BC does not have any flavor. But maybe I'm going to say don't have any noticeable flavor, because when I was a small child, I would say 1967. In 1967, they were testing fluoride for the water system in British Columbia. The government gave my mom and dad free dental for all their kids till we were 18 if we went into a testing program. What do you call those trials? If we went into a trial in testing the different measurements of fluoride in the water to see, they were testing safe safe fluoride levels in drinking water, and they were using us kids as test subjects in that. My dad got free dental for the kids till we're 18 years old, but I didn't get a say in that. My parents were the my guardians. They got to make those decisions, and right, and especially in where I'm moving now and how I feel, I think, oh my goodness, I've got calcified pituitary gland. I'm moving along, and I'm just like bumping up against walls like I'm blind or something. I'm thinking this. I don't know if I am, but I'm thinking this, and it's all because it's all calcified and everything. And then I started thinking, I just like, oh my goodness, I feel like those tested twins in Auschwitz, because they didn't have a choice, right? They had those operations and reproduction, and right, they were cauterizing and making it so sanitized. What do you call those? Not sanitizing. Where they were making it so they couldn't have children and stuff, and right, and I thought, oh my goodness, I didn't even have a choice about having fluoride. And my mother, we get them in the bottles of fluids were about that big, and they were in like eye drop bottles, and she put drops on our toothbrushes every day. She put it in our juice, sterilized. Yes, Andrew, thank you. Sterilized, right? They My mother would put that stuff in our juice and our milk, uh, in her cooking, uh, toothbrushes, like I said, and right, and our all of us kids had money taken out of our pocket because we had to put a lot of work into our teeth. And even though we got free dental we were 18. What about all the damage to our teeth in that process of that trial and that testing? And what damage did it do to me? Right? How am I suffering? How's it damaged me? How am I handicapped because my pituitary gland is all crusted over with crusties from all that fluoride that I took in, right? Without having an option. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. And then maybe a new batch would come up. Okay, I get it. Oh, oh, she's telling the flowers to go back into the ground. I get it. She was cracking a joke. She was cracking a joke. I just didn't read it. Just didn't read it properly. Okay. You garden quite a bit, don't you, Owen? I think Owen mentions his gardening. Owen, are you a gardener? I was thinking about making potatoes in 5-gallon, right? I thought you were a gardener. Um, I was thinking of, I saw YouTube videos of growing potatoes in 5-gallon pails, and that you can keep doing seasons over and over and over again. I've been picking up books and watching videos and stuff about um, canning and preserving and building shelters and building stoves and fire pits and fireplaces. Find it interesting. It's not to say that there's going to be a need for that, but in my hypervigilance, right? Uh, and my own curiosity, my own interest, that's some information that I want going forward. And I retain that stuff, right? I retain that stuff because, well, maybe it's in that self-preservation, right? Keeping myself keeping myself safe, right? And I don't think I keep myself too safe. Otherwise, I wouldn't be showing up here every single day. Am I correct? Okay. Herbs. And if you grow herbs, will you grow your herbs outside or will you grow them inside in jars? I know some people, they like to do them in their kitchen windows and stuff, and they do them in jars or coffee cups and stuff, and they grow their own herbs and then they just snip them off when they're cooking. I know your sister has been cooking and freezing meals for you, Owen, but are you a good cook? Do you like cooking? Yeah, I'd be interested to know if Owen likes cooking himself. I know he's a caregiver and I know he has to cook, right? As part of the caregiving. But it's amazing when you can love what you're doing. Oh, okay. I tried gardening once when my husband was in the military. We got transferred to Edmonton, and my husband wanted me to be happy there, right? He had separated me from my family. I understand now why he fought so hard not to go to my family's house for Christmas. I was totally clueless. He wasn't. He knew exactly what was going on. And he went for me. He didn't want, he fought me. He had me bawling my eyes out when he said he didn't want to go to my family's for Christmas. I'd never missed a Christmas at my family's ever in my entire life. I wasn't about to have it happen. And of course, I was going to win that battle. And yes, he did show up at my family's house for Christmas. But it makes me wonder how difficult that was for him to do that, right? I had the most amazing husband. And, I'm sure he beats himself up for what we didn't get right. But just as easily, I beat myself up in what I contributed or didn't contribute to that marriage too. Oh, okay. But do you like it? I know you do the cooking, but do you like to do the cooking, Owen? Do you like to do the cooking? I don't mind cooking so much, but I would prefer if somebody would want to cook dinner for me. I'm a really good cook. And I used to cook all the time. I'd put on these dinner parties and I'd just have my friends come over for dinner and stuff because I used to love to entertain. That's something I do love. I love to entertain. I love to have people over and share meals and conversations and the decor, right? We talk, right? Where did you get this? And you go into a story. Every single item in my house has a little bit of story, but for the amount of people that come into my house, you can imagine I haven't told a lot of stories, right? Probably tell more stories on this live show than I ever have on anything that I own in my house, right? Oh, perfect. And because you take days off, that's probably why you like to cook, right? It's like any too much of a good thing is not a good thing, right? So you like cooking, that's great, but right, every once in a while, you take a break. I get it. I love going live, but when I'm going on my trips in September, right? I'm not necessarily posting, but I'm taking a lot of footage and I am involved in making this trip that I do every year a trip for everybody, right? But I don't post on a daily basis when I'm on that trip. And I do that for myself. That's my break. Those are my days off, right? That week that I take off on a trip. And I do post to the Instagram, right? When I can get into a town or close to internet or something. But for the most part, no, that trip is all mine. And every year it gets more magnificent. It gets right. I have the most amazing time. And every year more and more people say, "Oh, Cindy, can I come with you?" And I go, "Nope. That trip is mine. 100%. That trip is mine that I take every year." Or maybe not necessarily that trip, but my amethyst trip 100% is one always going to be mine. It's always going to be my special zone for myself. Yeah. Mm. For dinner tonight, I bought a little container. I went to the grocery store and got a little container of potato salad. And I thought, oh my goodness, Cindy, you should make a potato salad. That would be a good meal, right? Well, with something else, right? With some kind of meat or something. But I said, potato salad, you can make a beautiful potato salad. I'd make a wonderful potato salad. My mother made really, really nice potato salad. My mother was a very, very, very good cook. I like cooking too, but for the most part, it's in the entertaining part of it. So cooking for myself is no thrill at all. Cooking for myself is just making dishes to wash, right? But there are some things on occasion that I do like making, right? I do like making the breads. My mother always made good bread. She taught me how to make good bread. So on occasion, especially, when you're in your monthly budget, you're gone a little bit over or something, you'd have to tighten the belt up a little bit, right? There are ways that you can make sure that there are food in the cupboard and food on the table, right? By being creative in how you spend your money. I've been waiting for the rice to go on sale. When the rice goes on sale, I always like to have a 20-pound bag of rice in my apartment, because you never know, right? I could live for probably 2 or 3 months on a 20-pound bag of rice, 100%. You can use it in soups and all kinds of neat things, right? And I don't mean to make this all sound like survival. I mentioned it a couple of times, but it's what I'm interested in, right? So I just kind of, right? I don't beat myself up. I don't second guess. I could look into it a little bit deeper, but it's not in any kind of preparedness or anything. It's just maybe even something from my past that maybe the past Cindy, that's would have been how she would have thought, how she would have felt like that she had to be prepared, had to be ready for whatever happened. Now I'm just happy to right. I ride those waves. I'm enjoying I'm enjoying all of this, right? It's not always fun. It's not always easy, but it's interesting and it's part of my life, right? So if it's part of my life, I'm just gonna have to, right, delve into it and work with what I have at any given moment. So everybody has had a pretty decent week. Doesn't seem like anything too hairy, scary, or anything has been going on for anybody. Everybody seems like it's right. They're moving pretty good. I can't do it. I just can't. I broke my mouse, but I've been trying to read all the comments here, and because my mouse wasn't working, I wasn't getting to all the comments properly because of the way the screen goes. But then I realized that it was just the button part on the mouse that I broke. That it's still that little dial thing still works. So now at the end of my life, finally, I kind of figure out the comments okay. I will get a new mouse this week. I could have gotten one this weekend, right? But it just we were all into other doing other things, right? And we ended the week off really, really well. We had a good day today, even though everybody seemed a little bit out of sorts. We got the day done, we got the weekend done, and I think whoever the next crew is that starts tomorrow, they'll be starting their week feeling like right they're off to a good footing, 100%. Did anybody pop into my lives this week? We had an amazing word. We had this word flexibility this week. We pick a word every week on Mondays, and we talk about that word in a different perspective, in a different experience, and whether it's my experience or somebody else's experience. And this word flexibility popped up, and we worked with it all week. And I tell you, did I ever get lessons in that, and different lessons every single day? Like this show I'm doing, What's My Good Cheer? Oh my goodness, I'm putting a set of cards together. But I tell you, it is a job working with all these words. And I think that anybody who wanted to put that effort in would couldn't help, even if they tried to do a bad job or flub it or anything, right? If you just delved into these words every single day in your own perspective, your own experiences, or somebody in your life that you admire or don't admire, and there's a lesson in that, right? And you get a lot out of these cards, 100%. I'm pretty excited. I got my binder. I haven't started work on the cards, literally work on the cards yet, but I'm hoping to maybe get started this weekend. And we're going to start with our number one word. And our number one word was change. It was the first week that we did, and we got this word change. And so this will be my first card. And I still haven't felt long about how I'm going to sort this out, but I think it's just going to be mine because this is my project. So I thought it would be, if I picked the word change, it would be my perspective, not necessarily my first perspective, but how about something I believe about the word, right? Through an experience that I had or an experience somebody else had, and I was privy to that conversation or witnessing that with my own eyes. Oh, we know you like to cook, William. 100%. William saying that he loves to cook, right? I remembered your Thanksgiving dinner when you came into our live show and you showed us, or you sent me pictures of all. I wonder if I still have all those pictures. And he sent me pictures of all the food that he cooked. Like he cooked so much food. And let me just see. Magnifier. Oh, I have to go into my messages. We're going to send some good cheer out there for those of you who've never popped into one of my lives before. I live behind a fire station, so my wish every time that the fire trucks go by or the paramedics go by, they're the same. Here in Manitoba, Canada, the paramedics and the firemen, they may wear different uniforms, but they can do each other's job. It's right. It's the way the government works it out. So I'm just going to come in here and go home and go into my comments and see if I can find William's pictures of his Thanksgiving dinner. There he is. He sends me pictures. See the right amazing conversations that I've had for William for years. I saved them. I saved them all. And he sends me funny videos and sends me pictures and right. These are all the pictures because he likes, what do you call those things again? Their figures, their action figures. I can't remember. I watch for them at the store if they show up in the store, and then I'll hold on to them and then I'll send them out to him. And then he sends me pictures in his suits. I've saved all of them. Yeah. But so much. Oh, you guys, Owen, can I show you, or William, can I show them your picture of you and your vestments? Can they see what you look like, William? William, give me the heads up so I can show them the picture of you and your vestments. And if you say no, it's okay, because I know we're private, right? Just let me know if it's okay, and then I'll just turn the picture around so everybody can see what William looks like. But yeah, he's a pastor. Is that what you refer to yourself now, a pastor, William? I won't turn it around until he says something. I'll just put it right back here as soon as he says yes. If he says yes, I'll show you the picture because I've got it on screen right now. I would never do that. I would never share those private conversations and those private pictures without your guys' permission ever, right? But like me, I bet you're curious about the people that you have made friends with, because I'm not the only friend that I've made here, right? I've made friends here, you've made friends here, that we have these ideas of what each other looks like or how we live our lives and stuff. And sometimes it's our own intuition, but sometimes you could be shocked and say, oh my goodness, I never imagined, right, that Owen looked like this, or Melvin looked like this, or William looked like this, right? Oh, Nancy just sent me a picture. Okay, Nancy. Nancy's sending me. Okay, so the first thing, William says I can show his picture. You guys, this is our friend William in his vestments. Is that just not the coolest? Is he not like the most handsome priest ever? He sent me a few of them. He's got a white one too. There, look at that. I love that jacket on him. That's an amazing jacket on William. But that's our friend William, you guys. Right? Thank you, William, for being the first person to show your face in this crew. Right? Right? I know what few of you look like because we do exchange, but for the most part, you guys don't know what each other looks like. And yeah, he looks very handsome in his suit. But let's go see what Nancy has sent me. I don't know where maybe she sent it to me on Messenger. Oh, maybe she didn't. I don't see Nancy sent me anything. I thought she did. I know. You did send me something. You sent me a picture of the babies, I think. Let's see. Maybe it's a different. Oh, she was sending me some of the her dolls were wearing the outfits that I sent Nancy for a Christmas parcel, and she was sending me pictures of some of the dolls, right? Wearing the outfits. They were really really cute too. I don't know where. I thought I saw you send me a message. Oh yeah, she did. There it is right there. Okay, there's the picture. There's a picture of one of her dolls. It says in her new outfit. In her new outfit. She's got a lot of dolls. You should put all your dolls on your bed, Nancy, and take family photos. I know you've done that before, but you've got a bigger family now, right? So we need to see all your dolls. Okay, you guys, we're getting close to the end of the night. I got the photos. Your photos haven't been taken in 10 years, and those have really been catching up with me. You haven't had your photo taken in years? I guess it seems strange to me because, right, I see myself online every single day. So, yeah, I'm always I'm always in front of a camera. I really am. Catching up. Me too, right? Oh my goodness, look at the jowls. Look at, right? There's a reason why I wear ponytails. It's like the instant facelift. That's not why I wear the ponytails. I'm like Samson. I don't like to cut my hair. And you put your hair in a ponytail because my hair is curly. It looks like a well done hairdo sometimes, anyway. Okay. William says, yes, I'm a local minister in my church. I am known as a reverend. I have not been ordained yet. It takes about 2 years before I become ordained. So I have to go back to Nashville to be ordained. Oh, I didn't know that. So what is this? You work underneath another parish priest or for a couple of years, William, or you just practice your craft, right? Until they say that you're good enough and then you go to get ordained. It's like going to school or university. But looks like a real doll. My last picture was taken for a church directory in January of 2014. Wow, that is going a ways back, Andrew. That is going a ways back. Yeah, right? Hobby. I don't know, right? We all have different interests and different hobbies and different passions, but you have to remember that sometimes we get so attached to our hobbies and our passions that, right, they just become a part of our lives, right? It's just like this live show that we do on Sunday nights. It's just a part of my life now, right? But yeah, different, right? My live shows are my interest, but Nancy does live shows. Nancy does live shows all the time, and she has her YouTube channel, right? And her train sets. Nancy's a busy lady. Nothing keeps her down. 100%. Like, seriously, when we talk about social, about moving forward and staying balanced in that way, I think that Nancy has conquered that skill, because it is a skill to be socially adapt. And Nancy truly is socially adapt, isn't she? I worked on my layout today, changed a few things on it. So her layout is her train set. If you don't know, Nancy is a miniature train enthusiasm. what do they call that? D model train enthusiasm. She likes the trains to scale, and then she builds towns on a ping pong table, and and she has her train tracks, and her trains travel, right? And she does celebrations and exhibitions of her train sets. And Nancy sent me another photo. Uh, oh, she sent me a picture of her train set, you guys. Let me just. This is Nancy's. This is Nancy's train set. Isn't it amazing? Wow, look at the sky. Look at the mountains. I love the scenery. I love the landscape that you chose, Nancy. I really love the landscape that you chose. But I think on that landscape, I think that's where I'm going. I think that's the area that's like Utah. I don't know. Maybe it says on the painting somewheres, but that sure looks like the mountains and the places that I'm going to travel to this fall coming up. But yeah, that's Nancy's train set. Let's see if I can get a closer view without it going all foggy and stuff. And that's her town. That's her setup. Beautiful, Nancy. Beautiful. Oh, in Colorado. Ooh, they got crystals in Colorado. What do they have in Colorado? Um, garnets. I think they have garnets in Colorado, and they have agates in Colorado. All about the rocks. All about the rocks. Right. 100%. And each one of us, right? I don't know if you guys have ever been to Kathy's page. Kathy's on Instagram. I don't think she's on YouTube, but she's on Instagram. And Kathy does the adult colorings, right? The books, and her artwork is so amazing, right? That's her passions, amongst others, right? She's a bottle digger like I am. I think she's a bit of a mindset enthusiast, like I am, or maybe not. She has her own understandings, right? But we are all here together. And I'm really grateful, you guys, that, one of our passions, one of our hobbies, one of our interests is this group hanging out together every Sunday night, right? Every Sunday night. We've been doing this for years. And like I said, like some of you guys, right? We're exchanging emails and letters and texts. And I would love to add on to that community. But again, as introverts, as highly sensitives, as empathics, right, in that hypervigilance, we go slow. It does take time. But if you don't mind the baby steps, you've come to the right place. You guys, that's my live show tonight. I'm going to be back tomorrow with what's my good cheer? We'll be picking a new word tomorrow. I think tomorrow, I'm not sure if I'm going to stay in tomorrow or go for a walk tomorrow. I'm going to feel it out. It'll be Monday or Tuesday that I'll be going out and connecting with Mother Nature. I almost went for a little bit of a walk. I was going to get off the bus early today and walk the rest of the way home. And then went, oh my goodness, I can't go for a walk tonight. I got a live show to do. So I stayed on the bus, and then I came home. Right? Time for another cup of coffee. Time to take in some lessons. Maybe have a snack. Pajamas. You guys, that's it's not my good cheer tonight. It's Chatters Live, you guys. It's Chatters Live, and I shouldn't forget that. You guys, have a great night. Have a great week, right? Treat yourselves good. Some baby steps. Don't put yourself in the hairy scary if you possibly can, right? Have a nice, quiet, uneventful week. And I bet you'll find some movement in that if you did. It's my hopes that I'm going to. Okay, you guys, that's it for tonight. We'll see each other next week. Bye-bye.